When you hear the words rhythm and stealth, what exactly comes to mind? Well, for me, it makes me think of those moments when a really, really dope beat sneaks up on you and you just can't resist. It's contagious and infectious in a good way. And tonight, you'll have a chance to experience exactly what I mean. Synergizing the electronic with the organic, two seemingly contradictory concepts. Tonight's guests, Rhythm and Stealth, produce a sound that is both warm and groovy and still kind of trippy and cutting edge. As we enter the new dimension of 2016, this episode goes out to all my fellow sci-fi loving, Star Wars binging, afro-futuristic, fiending, down-to-earth music nerds who've been looking for something new to get hip to. I'm your host, Queen GodIs, and I want y'all to plug in and get ready to be charged up by this electrifying ride on B-side. And one more thing. Y'all ready? Happy New Year, Brooklyn! Yeah. Wow. So, first of all, I'm not always right, but in this case, I absolutely was correct. Everybody in here was sitting here like kind of nerdy, and then like the beat snuck up on you, and everybody got that like, oh, this is good stank face, right? Like, for those of you who are just tuning in, I'm here with Lex Sadler, the kind of the mind behind Rhythm and Stealth. He is a producer, a music director, sometimes a band leader, a programmer, and a musician whose one of his main instruments happens to be his laptop, right?
That's
so
right.
I want you to tell us where you're from. Lex, how did you get it to New York? How did you make it here? How much your baggage cost? Because that's a lot of, I'm imagining, stuff to check underneath the plane. And then introduce us to this really phenomenally talented drummer of yours.
Yeah, I moved here 9 years ago, 2007. From Perth, Western Australia.
Australia.
So I just kind of packed everything up and didn't really know anyone out here, and I just kind of came across.
Really?
Yeah.
Not one person?
No.
Wow.
No, I well, not for long. I mean, I was fortunate to come across an underground hip hop scene pretty early into my time here, and through that, I really met everyone in the New York scene. That's called Freestyle Mondays.
Yep.
Still running.
We're familiar,
today.
and we're actually going to come back to that because we're going to do quite a bit of name dropping because I think that the collaborations are a significant part of what we're going to be, you know, what you do.
Sure.
But before we get into that, I want you to introduce us to this really awesomely talented gentleman.
It's a rhythm right here.
This is the
Rhythm and Stealth.
Yes.
Sydney Driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it up for Sydney. Yeah, he's the best.
So Sydney is not mic'd, but we're going to get a lot of like facial expressions and head nods from you. It's so funny because like I was sitting here and I was trying to contain myself. Sometimes it's a lot easier than others, but like I really wasn't, and I wasn't able to. And then I looked up and Sydney looked at me and was like, yeah. Really, really great. Let's talk about the name Rhythm and Stealth. So for those who are kind of music enthusiasts, they might know that there's a group called Left Field.
That's right.
From the UK, who they have a second album named Rhythm and Stealth.
Correct.
I'm just curious about how did you sneak up on the name, or how did the name sneak up on you,
well,
and
I'm
is there
a huge
any
fan
connection?
Of this.
You are a fan of
I'm
this.
a huge fan of this.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about them and like what the connection is.
I listened to a lot of electronic music in the late 90s. That's when all my favorite artists are from that period. Left Field, Ronnie Size, Goldie, guys like this, drum and bass, UK electronica. And that's one of my favorite electronic records. And you know, they're back out now.
Oh,
they were kind of dormant when I took the name.
Okay.
So
So there was no fight.
there could be a little fight, but they'll probably win that one. But you know, they're an amazing group.
So the name literally, you kind of
Yeah, you know, I'm
direct
familiar with
inspiration.
other artists that have named themselves after, you know, albums or
okay.
movie titles or something
Right.
like that. And you know, but it's also representative of what we do. Like at the core is this duo, and we're kind of, you know, we got the rhythm and all of this stuff, which is kind of like the.
So you are aware that you kind of sneak up on people and they're not ready, and then they just like start.
I love that.
Yeah, I love
like
it
that
too.
a
It's
lot.
really, really great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about electronic music. Electronic music, for those who don't, it's a big umbrella term, and it started to kind of come to the forefront during the 90s, I want to say, or maybe earlier than that, maybe early 80s.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, as a segue, there's this new kind of more specific genre called electronic dance music, because apparently not every form of electronic music is kind of dancey. And under that umbrella, under this umbrella, you have, I want to say, trance music, trip hop, trap music even. You have drum and bass.
Yeah.
We have all of these things. How do you, do you consider, clearly it's electronic dance music that you're doing, and what subcategory, if any, would you say?
That's a really tough question, because there's that influence, but I don't feel like we necessarily fit under that EDM umbrella.
Oh, okay. Tell us.
I mean, there's obviously there's a ton of electronic elements in there, but you know, the EDM that I grew up with, and I'm kind of like showing my age a little bit, but that stuff was always very live. You know, they had live bands, they had a lot going on. And then, you know, kind of the popularity of EDM rose here.
So when you say live, there was nothing, they didn't have any digital setup at all?
Well, they don't have the same kind of thing that we have today.
Clearly,
but there, you know, there's some amazing videos from, you know, 97, 98, where there's guys with computers like the old CRT monitors.
Can you
know,
imagine?
6 guys up there with black and white monitors, like doing a thing. And then there's artists like, you know, Square Pusher that would build his own sequences and hardware, and he would come out and do these amazing things. So I feel like back then there was that live element, and then that kind of dropped off a little bit. And then, you know, today's EDM is the DJ culture.
Yes, which I'm happy to talk about, because hip hop is a part of, clearly, of what you do. And similar to hip hop, with, I think, earlier EDM, the DJ was the focal point, because it was more about the DJ actively creating these segues, these mixes, and these blends to create this sound that people were experiencing in raves or clubs and things like that. And one of the complaints is that the DJ, kind of also similar to hip hop, went from the forefront into the background, and it was less about that active participation in creating the sound, and more about what some people critique is like pushing buttons. But clearly, as we watch you, it's a lot more than just pushing buttons. So are you a DJ at all? Do you DJ at all? No. But how would you, in terms of the physicality of what you're playing, these gadgets, and we're going to talk about that in a second, would you say that you have a similar role as the DJ once did in electronic music, and like live creating?
It's probably a little bit more granular though than a DJ, because a DJ, I mean, DJ is typically blending 2 tracks.
Right.
And how we do it here, we have loops that are a lot smaller. So there's very much an improvisational element to what we're doing. I'm not just hitting play and then you know, jamming along with the track that's already been made. So what it does, it allows us to really improvise with what we're doing. And all of this actually came out of doing an electronic jam session, which probably in the past like wasn't possible, but with like the technology today, you know, you can come out, and we used to have 5 or 6 people on stage, and I would throw different segments and loops and stuff and see what happened.
Let's go a little bit into that a little bit more, just so that we have a general understanding. So first of all, I'm very clear that there's a grandfather at home thinking, that's not a keyboard, I'll show you a keyboard, you know. What are those?
What are those?
tell us what it is, and then tell us how you use it so we can get a better understanding of what exactly we're watching.
All right, well, I like analog synths. So this is a Moog Voyager, and it's based on the Mini Moog Model D, which was made famous by Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder and all these guys. So this has a really amazing like analog synth sound. And there's another synth module here that kind of does the same thing. So I'm generating bass lines from these two instruments. And then the laptop is the conductor for everything. So the laptop has the other audio in it, samples and loops and so on. And
the program you're using is Ableton?
Yeah,
okay.
Ableton Live. So Ableton lets you, you know, lets you build tracks on the fly, trigger samples, trigger loops, and then apply effects to everything. And then I'm sending Sydney, you know, various bits and pieces so he knows what's going on.
You're sending it to him where?
Through the headphones.
Through the headphones?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not actually sorcery or magic. It's
there's a little bit of magic.
There's a lot of magic,
there's a lot
actually,
of magic.
And I think we're going to witness some more of the magic. I'm really excited to get into the next set of songs. A lot of what you do really comes to life even more through collaborations. You work with MCs and vocalists and other musicians to just really bring this sound to life. And even what we're seeing here, the collaboration just between the kit and, you know, the digital is just really, I mean, it is electric. And I know it's complicated for some people who are more purists and traditionalists. But as we segue into the next 2 songs, I want to say that this is kind of a prime example of the power of the collaborative process in your work. This is really going to be a treat for those of you at home. I got to see a little bit before before the show. We're going to bring up to the stage for your next two songs, one of which is a cover of What You Won't Do for Love, and the second one is called Pretty, and we're going to bring up to the stage. This is a real phenomenal vocalist. I want to bring her up, and I want you to introduce her.
Yeah. She's
Briefly,
the best.
yeah, I mean,
Best
there's nothing else. I'm just gonna let y'all listen,
Best I've
and
ever
then like
seen.
y'all can send me a check later.
I mean, we all
'cause,
agree.
you know.
She's the best we've ever witnessed.
Really?
So
Yeah.
I'm so fortunate to have her, not only to perform with us, but she's on the record as well. And she's a co-writer.
All right, so
of
we're
the
gonna
song.
have her come up for
Kennedy,
the next
come
two
up.
songs.
And we got Kyla too, who's going to join us
And who's gonna join us on this song as well.
on trumpet.
Yeah, so I was trying, y'all are secret weapons. They're gonna find out shortly. They're gonna be calling in saying, when can we like stalk you all? Let's get into it. This is What You Won't Do for Love, and this is a prime example of how electric the collaborative process between the electronic and the organic can be.
Let's do it.
Rhythm and stealth.
Oh, 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 oh. I guess you wonder where I've been. I've gone to find a love within. But I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me, 'cause I'm in a daze from your love, you see, baby. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. Some people go around the world for love, but they never find what they dream of. What you won't do for love, baby, yeah. You tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do. I guess you won't do where I am. I've gone to find the love within. Oh, but I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. Some people go around the world for love, but they never find what they dream of. What you want to, babe, you do for love. You don't trust everything, but you won't give up, no. In my world, only you make me do for love. Make me do. what you want to, baby, beautiful love. You don't try everything, but you won't give, but you won't give up, no, in my world. Only you, baby, make me do for love. Make me do for love. Make me do for make me love. Make me do for make me too far. Locked inside a lie, yeah, every tower high above the truth. You tell them that I'm dead, but I'm living in your head, 100 proof. I know who you are under 20 stars, ashes and fumes. I know what you are, greedy, selfish heart, breaks us in two. Inside, outside, inside, outside. Oh, I'm the prettiest girl in your ugly world, your ugly world. Oh, I'm the prettiest girl in your ugly world, your ugly world. My beauty you deny, your golden bombs ignite, man's killing time. Glass and metal skin, not of your porcelain pen. I'm seraphim. I know what is real to spell or sex appeal. From tape to fame, I know who I am. Visions of homeland, you fear my name. Inside, outside, inside, outside. Oh, I'm the prettiest girl in your ugly world, your ugly world. Oh, I'm the prettiest girl in your ugly world, your ugly world, baby. Oh, I'm the prettiest girl in your ugly world, ugly world. Oh, in your ugly world, babe. Inside, outside, inside, outside. La 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 la. I'm the prettiest, prettiest girl in your ugly world. I'm the prettiest, prettiest. Oh, prettiest girl in your ugly world. I'm so pretty.
Yes. So first of all, what in the hell did y'all have for breakfast today? Wow. Let me do this properly because, first of all, let's take a moment of silence. I kind of feel like if somebody bottled up Athena and Nzinga and Nefertiti and every warrior, princess, goddess, queen, and like put it in, like y'all opening up whatever y'all are doing and they're flying out. Like that's just how I feel. I'm gonna work on that description later, but let's introduce them again properly. Lex, please do me the honors and tell us who in the heaven these two women are
The one and only
and
Kennedy.
how we can find them again.
The one and only Kennedy.
Kennedy on the vocals.
Of the Kennedy administration.
Of the Kennedy administration.
Wednesday nights at the Groove.
Yes, you have a residency at the
She
Groove,
does.
and we can come and stalk you there. Yeah, okay. Yes. And then please tell us.
And
who
Kyla
this one-
Moscovich on
Yeah,
trumpet.
Kyla Moscovich.
And you've seen her on Good Morning America, SNL, with Demi Lovato. She's everywhere.
It's
one of the
amazing
best.
because when they come in, they're like, yeah, hi. And then they're like doing these selfies and like Instagram posts, and next thing you know, they're rah. It really, it's phenomenal. And it shows the possibility of collaboration. Like already what you're doing is it's very groovy and infectious. And then like when you add these other powerhouse elements to them, it's just like really out the roof. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. In the spirit of collaboration, let's keep talking about that a little bit. So you want to take your seat and then, we don't mind just standing here looking at you if it's up to you. You've worked with many artists, and actually some of them are friends of mine. So I'm happy to let's talk about collaboration. Let's talk about how it enhances, changes, uplifts, shapeshifts what it is that you're already doing. And so some of the collaborators that I personally know would be Blitz the Ambassador. You've worked with him on his stuff. And then Rabbi Darkside and Ill Spoken. Ill Spoken is my nephew. So I'm going to give a shout out to them. My fake nephew. And Abner Kumsen, who many people will have recognized from Fela on Broadway. What is it like working with them, and how did it help, or how did it shapeshift what you're already doing?
Well, we met through Blitz. So
You and Sydney met through Blitz.
Sydney was
Perfect.
Blitz's drummer and needed a bass player, and that's how we started working together.
Nice.
So, I knew straight away after playing with Sid that he's the guy for this project. And I think we were on tour in Canada when I played the music for you, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm down
Yeah,
for this."
pretty much.
And that's kind of how
Did
that
you have
started.
live drums before that?
No, I mean, I didn't have a show. I didn't have anything. I had some material that I'd worked on, which has made its way onto the record. But I had some stuff, and I was pretty unfinished. And it was just a direction of where I wanted to go. And we talked about doing something, and I played it to Sid, and he really dug it. So that's when we started kind of, scheming this part of it. And then, we developed this live improvisational thing at New Blue in the East Village.
New Blue,
like
okay.
2012, like a while ago.
And by live improvisational, every time you play, it's a completely different experience for the audience.
I would every week, it was every Monday, and every week leading up to that Monday, I would just chop up stuff and load it into the computer. And then I would bring it out and kind of just throw it at Sid, and we had a bunch of other musicians playing with us. Raja Cassis from Blitz's band, Jonathan Levy, amazing bass player, he's here tonight. And we would just, see what happened, and I would I would never record it. I was terrible at recording, but I remember certain things. And a lot of the music that's on the record came out of those jams. And you mentioned Abner, she's a songwriter on the record as well.
Oh,
we
she
did a
is.
track together on the record.
Okay.
And that was something that we developed in a jam session.
Okay, well then let's talk about the record. This is like a perfect moment. The record is called Polytronic, and it was exclusively released in Japan on Piedmont
you can't get
Records.
it.
That does nothing for us. But if you got it like that, go ahead and get your trip to Japan and go get the album.
It's a
So,
worthwhile journey.
I won't ask you what we could expect on the album, but tell us.
Well, it's going to release here in April.
It is going to release in April of 2016.
Of this year.
Polytronic. Is it going to be the same label or?
It's a different label.
Okay.
That it's.
Okay,
I
we'll
can't-
skip over that. But just tell us what to. I totally know how it goes.
Yeah.
Tell us about the album. Tell us where did it come from within what you're doing, what we can expect to hear on it, who's on it.
It's nine tracks, material that I developed over about 3 years.
Oh.
And I had a lot of different iterations and lives as its own material, but it was really everything that I'd produced in the computer. So I didn't have any live instruments, and I took that over to Japan, and we were listening to it with the label there, and they really encouraged me to capture more of what the live sound is on that record. So I came back and I opened the box and had Sid come and record on a majority of the record. And
when you mean the box, you mean like Pandora's box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to be honest, I was apprehensive at first because I'd lived, not because I don't think anyone's going to do a great job, but I'd lived with the music for a while, and and I wasn't too keen on, I wanted
It's
to
like
start
your
something new.
child, and you don't want to just hand your child off to.
Not to this guy.
To him.
But
No, that's not what I mean.
no, but I was apprehensive about doing it. But then once we started the process, and I have some unbelievable collaborators on the record.
Well, I want to talk about that because I think the process might seem a little daunting for people at home who are not necessarily into all the wires and the gadgets. So I was going to ask you, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do you have these sounds bouncing around in your head, or do you hear a song, you're like, oh, that would be great, sound great looped, and then do you try to, you make it happen here, and then you go as far as you can with it here on in the program, Ableton on the computer, and then how do you decide what elements to bring in?
That's a good question. I mean, I piece everything together like Legos in here first. So I have just a bunch of stuff.
So you are maybe programming drums here first and then saying, how would this sound live?
Yeah, because what had happened is we'd done that, but we'd played anyway. So, it was then just a matter of capturing what we do right here in the room, in the studio. So we'd done a ton of shows already, so we knew the material inside out. So that was easy, but the trick was with the other guys.
Okay.
And fortunately, I'm working with the best in the world, and the thing I wanted to do with those guys was just have them really just interpret the music how they saw fit and just play.
Right.
So when you hear the other instrumental tracks, on the album, the other instrumental parts, they're like complete takes. So I didn't chop anything up.
Okay.
I just said, here it is, like play what you think. And you know, what was interesting about that was some of the guys played to give me as much stuff as they could that I could then go and like chop up. And in the end, I just used the whole thing. So, you know, there's a bit of a journey with some of these tracks.
And journey is really, I think, important. I think sometimes with the new stuff that's out there, people are like, I'm wanting to go somewhere, but this is not really taking me anywhere.
Yeah.
So we appreciate the journey. And
Yeah.
we're going to go into the next song because I'm sure you'd rather hear them play than me ask questions. That's fine, whatever. There's so many questions, though, because this is a complicated and exciting and controversial in some ways medium. The next song is called Shibuya Crossing. And then I have a really important question just about the electronic aspect of this and like how do you balance out relying on certain things to work and like still being able to go and perform no matter what. So we're gonna come back to that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you off the hook and we're gonna go into Shibuya
let's
Crossing
do it.
next. Rhythm and Stealth. I'm not even being dramatic. All I know is, Sydney, you better shut your face. I was like, Sydney, you're not Mike, but is there anything you want to say? He's like, nah. Okay, I get it. Wow. Okay. All right. I have like a thousand more questions.
Sure.
But we only don't have that much time, and we have one more song after this. Give it up for them one more time. Okay, so this is a challenging question. In 2005, I think it was 2005, there was this huge blackout that just kind of happened in all of New York. And I was in the studio recording, whack, right? And so I'm looking at all of this. What happens when the power goes out? There's like, how does the show go on? Does the show go on? Does Sydney like grab a mic and freestyle? Like, do
Absolutely
you
not.
do interpretive dance? Like, what in the world?
Nah.
Like, what happens?
He keeps playing.
You keep playing.
Yeah, and I leave.
And you
That's it.
gracefully and quietly
Yeah, I
out
just
of the
slip
back
out the
exit.
door.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so this is, I mean,
Yeah, we can't play
this is
in
a
the
big leap of
subway.
faith to do this. So for everybody
Yeah.
who has their qualms about like electronic music, it is still kind of a big leap of faith. I want you to name your top 5 artists of all time, any genre, who have inspired you. I want you to do them quickly and see if we can get into another question after that. If not,
Yeah.
we have to cut our losses.
Okay,
So.
Square Pusher, Aphex Twin, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jamiroquai, and the Beatles.
Yes, good list. Okay, I think he's showing off a little bit. Fine. And 2015 Best 9, it was an application that was going around and people's top 9 photos of the all-time. Little Birdie told me that you did it and you got
did.
your 9 photos. Pick one of the 9 and tell us how that picture represents like your trajectory for the coming year.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And tell us why.
It was Back to the Future Day, and I had light-up sneakers and a hoverboard.
You
And
did?
That's all I need.
You had them?
Yeah.
Where'd
yeah.
you get them? Okay, we'll talk about that
Yeah,
later.
we'll talk
But it was
about
the
that
back.
No, I mean, you know, the future, that's it.
That's
we're,
it.
We're trying to like create the future.
And for many people, electronic music was considered the future of music. But then even beyond that, there's some new things that are happening with it. That last song was called Shibuya Crossing, by the way. I want y'all to Google Shibuya, which is a suburb in Japan, and see how that song kind of resonates with you. We don't have time to talk about it right now. But if you could give a love note to Brooklyn, this is where we are in BRIC Studios on B-Side in Brooklyn. As an artist, as a musician, what would your love note to Brooklyn be?
I will move here eventually.
I will move here eventually. Okay, we're gonna have to
That's
talk
my
about that.
promise.
Okay, we'll talk about
Yeah.
that later. All right, that's a complicated thing. We'll talk about that later. So we love you, Brooklyn. And let me see
do.
if I can squeeze in one more. Bjork.
Oh, yeah.
Bjork released an album on the app album.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself doing anything similar to how you're gonna now put your music out really quickly?
Yeah, I would like to. We have a huge visual component with what we do
Okay.
that's not with us today. But I like the multimedia
Multimedia.
kind of side of things.
Here you heard it.
so-
It's Back to the Future. It's multimedia, and above all, it is rhythm and stealth. We want to thank our guests. Y'all were really, really awesome. Maybe it was the drums. Maybe it was.
Thank you.
Maybe it was the drums, maybe it was the live samples, or maybe it was all about that bass, about that bass, about that bass. So whatever the case, we'd like to thank the homies, Rhythm and Stealth. Thank you so much for
Thank you for having
jumping in and getting everything sparked and lit and all of that. And to our guests, thank you for joining them. Y'all were phenomenal. We look forward to hearing more from y'all in the future, and we wish you the absolute best. And for you at home, if you're feeling inspired, which I know you are, and want to see more, you can check out past episodes of B-Side on our YouTube channel or connect with us on Twitter and Instagram at BSideBK. I am your host, Queen GodIs. And not only does good music still exist, but it is a bright and powerful force. So, in the words of the great honorary Brooklynite, Yoda, of course, may the force be with you. Till next time. Happy 2016!